You see that ND? God will punish him for me. He should never allow me catch him anywhere in this entire Lagos. He should just keep running, because if I find him, I will tear him apart. You won't believe it. He stood me up at the restaurant. That useless boy stood me up after we accumulated a bill of 385,000 naira. A very long time ago, when the moon still wore fresh powder and palm trees gossip whispered to the breeze, there lay a jewel of a village called Akoko, perched like a proud hen on the green hills of eastern Nigeria and hugged by sparkling blue rivers. Akoko was so beautiful that even passing clouds slowed down just to peep in awe at its beauty. But beauty alone never filled a cooking pot. The people of Akoko understood this well. They were farmers with backs strong as Iroko trunks and wheels tougher than a stubborn goat. At the first rooster crow, men grabbed their hoes and marched to the field like an army of yams. Women swept courtyards until they shone like moonlight, went to the river to fetch water with their children, chattering happily as they walked, returned home to prepare breakfast, then tied their wrappers tight and trooped to the market. Baskets balanced on heads, as steady as chiefs in council. Those who had no business being in the market joined their husbands on the farm. In Akoko, every hand worked. Oh, every hand except one. His name was Nnamdi, the king of palm wine promises. Ah, Nnamdi. If laziness were a throne, he would have won the crown with pride. If it were an award, he would have won it every single year with extra prizes, and definitely without a rival. He believed the world owed him more than roasted yam and even moonlight. While others sweated under the rising sun, Nnamdi perfected the noble art of doing absolutely nothing. We all know that village mornings began with the crow of stubborn roosters and the sweet smell of wet earth. But in Nnamdi's compound, morning began only when his royal idleness felt like opening his eyelids. He lays proud on a raffia mat beneath the generous shade of the Udara tree in his father's compound, yawning so wide that the children swore they could see tomorrow inside his throat. And when he finally rose, it was never to fetch a hoe, no. He would pick up his chewing stick, clean his mouth, go into the kitchen, and mount a large heap of food like one who had just wrestled with 100 giants in his sleep. Of course, the food was prepared by his mother, who had already gone to the market. He then drifted after loading the food in his belly like a bored cloud to the village square, where the other professional dreamers, oh yes, he had other lazy people like him, assembled around a keg of palm wine that they had either begged a passerby to buy or bought on credit, as they were always penniless. They called themselves men of future fortune, though the only thing they possessed was an unshakable belief in their own greatness and a cup of someone else's palm wine. Why break your back for ordinary yam in the farm? Okafo, the long-legged, declared, wiping froth from his mustache. When the gods can drop a bag of cowries on your roof, why will you suffer? Yes, it happens. In the stories my grandfather tells me, whoever will be rich will be rich. You don't need to kill yourself over work. Ikechukwu snorted, wham. True talk, my brother. Hard work is for people who don't know shortcuts. And they always feel that they are wiser than everyone. That is the most annoying part. Me? I'm only waiting for my letter from the palace. Any day from now, the king will hear of my wisdom soon and make me chief advisor. I saw it in a dream. Another fellow tapped the keg like it was a talking drum. And I, he boomed, will soon marry a princess. With all this my beauty. Look at me now, woke, full package. I can already smell the royal stew. They laughed so loudly that even the goats rolled their eyes. Men who could not feed themselves, discussing palaces and princesses. The irony was fat enough to fry. Then came Nnamdi's turn. He staggered up, his chest puffed, his voice dripping with a fake British accent he claimed to have mastered during a short apprenticeship in the city. An apprenticeship he had abandoned just a few months after he had left for the city, claiming with great pride and drama that his master was using his glory to make money. Very laughable. Abeg, dem dey use poor man glory. Besties, since then, he hadn't even been able to do something meaningful with his life and so-called glory. He had tried farming, but his farmland wasn't difficult to recognize at all because it was always filled with weeds, and at the end of the farming year, he would end up with nothing. Thus, he declared farming wasn't for him. London is calling me, he announced, to the passing breeze, addressing both animals and humans alike. One day, you all will wake up and find me gone, flown to Heathrow, to live my big life. When I return, I shall shake this village like a palm tree in Hamatan. I will spray money, splash wealth. My destiny is international, too big for this little Akoko. His fellow dreamers roared their approval, slapping the dusty ground in admiration, their voices so loud and filling the entire village. Passers-by only hissed. Look at them, one woman muttered, balancing her baskets of vegetables. The Poor Men's Association, rich in wisdom, empty in stomach. An old elder leaning on his staff paused long enough to watch these foolish men. Finally, he shook his head sadly. The hen that crows at dawn but never scratches the soil will sleep hungry at night. He shuffled on, leaving the laughter of the foolish men of future fortune floating foolishly in the warm Akoko air. Now, listen well, besties, because the story of Nnamdi's home life is enough to make a palm wine tapper laugh and cry at the same time. Nnamdi was the only son of his parents, the golden egg in a basket of hope. His father, Mazio Demba, owned acres of the fattest, juiciest farmland in all of Akoko, soil so rich that even a lazy seed would grow fat. But to Nnamdi, farming was a profession fit only for people without glory. Farming, he would scoff, spreading his arms as if displaying a royal robe. With all this my beauty and divine glory, abomination, my chi would weep hot tears if they discovered I lowered myself to such dirty work. Whenever Mazio Demba tried to speak sense into him, Nnamdi would raise a finger like a city lecturer and launch into his favorite sermon. Papa, have you not heard? The men who make it big in the city do not break their backs. They use smart work, not hard work. Look at you and Mama. You've worked since I was a child, yet what do you have to show? But me, I will rewrite our story. Don't worry, Papa, I have big plans. Plants as tall as Mount Kilimanjaro. Mazio Demba would only shake his grey head until his neck ached. He sighed, the sound heavy enough to bend the udara tree outside. Big plans indeed. What plans? Absolutely nothing, except to demolish heroic bowls of pounded yam and to debate nonsense with his league of idle philosophers. His days were a masterpiece of full-time nothingness. Night after night, his poor mother wept quietly, soaking her pillow like morning dew. "Chimo," she prayed, "why did you give me a son who eats like 10 men and walks like half a snail?" Nnamdi was not only of marriageable age, he was handsome enough to cause maidens to trip over their water pots. Yet, instead of being a source of pride, he was a living headache, a walking riddle that kept his parents awake while the rest of Akoko snored. And still, every morning, Nnamdi stretched, yawned, and polished his big plans, which floated in the air like smoke from a stubborn fire, smelling of absolutely nothing. One blistering afternoon, when the sun baked the red earth till it smelled like roasted clay, Akoko's quiet rhythm cracked like a palm nut. A low rumble drifted in from the dusty road, vroom, vroom, growing louder until it rattled the goats and made the hens protest. A car. In Akoko, cars were rarer than snow. Children shrieked, "Oh yo yo! Oh yo yo!" and tore after it, bare feet drumming the ground like talking drums. They had no idea who the driver was. They only knew adventure had rolled into town on 4 shining wheels. Women returning from the farms froze mid-stride, baskets tilting dangerously. Men paused with holes on their shoulders, shading their eyes. Murmurs spread like dry seasoned fire. Who is it? Which chief bought a new motor? Maybe the government is looking for our village again. The car, black, silk, and smelling of faraway cities, finally turned into a Okafor's compound. And then the whispers exploded like kernels in hot oil. "It is Oba o!" Someone gasped. "Chineke!" Okafor's first son, another exclaimed. Oba, the prodigal apprentice, who had vanished 5 years earlier to learn work in the city. Now here he was, stepping out of the car dressed like a prince who had just escaped a palace. His wrapper glimmered with golden threads. His sandals looked like they had never touched the dust. Without a word, he began spraying money. Crisp naira notes fluttered in the air like startled pigeons. Children dived as if the sky itself were raining treasure. Women squealed. Men who claimed dignity suddenly discovered flexibility in their spines, bending to snatch the airborne wealth. Okafor and his wife burst into a dance of pure parental joy. Wrappers flapping, hips swinging like jubilant drums. Their son had returned, not just alive, but loaded. And who else but Nnamdi was among the first to hit the ground? If there was free money in 50-mile radius, trust Nnamdi to smell it like a bush dog sniffing palm wine. He dived, arms outstretched, snatching notes mid-air with the speed of a hungry hawk. Oba, he thought, stuffing his pockets like a squirrel before Harmattan. Is this not my guy? From the men of future fortune. How in 5 short years did he turn from palm wine philosopher to big city man? Questions could wait. Right now, the only plan was to gather as many fluttering naira notes as the gods could allow. By evening, the news of Oba's grand arrival had spread through Akoko faster than Harmattan fire on dry grass. Every path, every compound, every moonlit corner burst like a heave of startled bees. Men and women clustered in twos and threes, arms folded, voices lowered but sharp as pepper. "Did you see that car?" one woman hissed, eyes wide. It shone like the forehead of a new bride. Another sniffed. "Car? I'm still counting the money he sprayed though. My wrapper is full of cash. I was so lucky." A farmer leaned on his hoe, shaking his head. 5 years in the city, and he returns like a prince. What work did he even learn? Maybe he found oil of wealth under his pillow, because I can't explain. And Elder cleared his throat. When a goat grows fat in the city, ask who is feeding it. Laughter and gasps chased the gossip from one end of the village to the other. And of course, this matter could never pass Nnamdi Mbano. Impossible. At the palm wine joint that night, Nnamdi sat with his faithful circle of men of future fortune. The lantern lights throwing mischievous shadows across their faces. "Did you people see how fresh Oba looked?" Nnamdi began, his voice heavy with mock wisdom. "That kind of money is not from hard work. I know smart work when I see it. And Oba has never been a man to love hard work." He leaned closer, eyes gleaming like a cat spotting roasted fish. "My time to leave this village has finally come. Oba must tell me his secrets. Once the noise dies down, I will swallow my pride and visit him. We used to drink here and gist together now. And I've given him free motivation a few times. Can you imagine? This our humble joint is now betting billionaires so." One of his friends nodded, slapping the rickety table. "Don't mind these villagers, with all their hoe and cutlass wahala. Not even a single bicycle among them. We will soon show them pepper. Once you join the billionaire gang, I might just be the next." The others erupted in thigh-slapping laughter, the kind that made the palm wine tremble in their cups. And just like that, Nnamdi's mind was set. He would seek Oba's attention. Tomorrow, the journey to smart work would begin, at least in his mouth. At dawn the next day, Nnamdi marched to Oba's compound with the urgency of a man chasing his own shadow. Gone was the swagger of the men of future fortune. Today, he wore a look of humble desperation, though his fine shoes still squeaked like proud roosters. He found Oba reclining beneath a mango tree, sipping city tea as if he owned the breeze itself. "Oba, my brother," Nnamdi began, his voice trembling with eagerness. He took his seat. Oba, this village is too small for me. You know it yourself now. My glory is too much for Akoko. When I was a child, the chief priest said I would be very rich. I know this village cannot contain my destiny. I am city material. I should own like 3 cars. He leaned forward, eyes shining like a hungry cat. "Please, help your brother. Chetanwanege. Remember the bond we shared at the palm wine joint? Remember the tips I used to give you now? Remember how we dreamed this dream together? Show me the way, Biko." Oba studied him, head tilted, and for a heartbeat said nothing. Nnamdi's eager face twitched like a grasshopper trying hard to look humble. Suddenly, Oba burst into laughter so loud that a nearby hen abandoned her eggs. "Ah, Nnamdi," he chuckled, rising to his feet. Without a word, he disappeared into his hut and returned moments later with a sealed bottle of palm wine. They settled beneath the tree, cups in hand, the late morning sun blinking through the leaves. "You see, Nnamdi," Oba began, his sly smile coiling at his lips. "I won't lie to you. You are not new to me. We were once tight friends. Honestly, when I saw you roaming this village and catching money like a bird the other day, I nearly went mad. Like you said, you're not a package meant for Akoko. Exactly. Now they jumped in. Now you get what I am saying, nearly spilling his drink. Yes, with your fine looks and sharp brain, you should be cruising the world, raking in money, Oba said, leaning closer. He glanced over his shoulder to be sure no curious ears were nearby, then lowered his voice. You must leave for Lagos. Lagos is the real deal. His words dripped like honey, each syllable sweet with forbidden promise. There, you will meet high-class women, top-profile beauties with serious cash, women who have already made it. And you, my brother, will, how do I put it now? Okay, harvest, reap and use them. Many men left this country with houses and businesses paid for by women. All you need is packaging. Fake it until you make it. That's what I do, and the gods have blessed me. He waved a hand towards the yard with a flourish. Look at me. I am tearing down this old hut and building a mansion in my father's compound. I have plenty of businesses in the city. Once one maga stops bringing money, we move to the next. That's how we roll. Nnamdi breathed, his mind dancing like a drumbeat. Oba, you are a wise man. You are a wise man. Then he burst into loud, almost childlike laughter. Just like that. Wow, wow, wow. This is a dream come true. Lagos, here I come. The two men laughed until the tree itself seemed to shake, Oba leaning in to share more glittering tips. And in that warm afternoon, Nnamdi's grand fantasy of living big and shaming his enemies suddenly felt as close as the palm wine on his tongue. The morning after Oba's wisdom seminar, Nnamdi woke up with the zeal of a man who had just discovered a buried treasure, except the treasure was still in other people's pockets. Oba had refused to give him a single kobo, wagging a finger and laughing. My friend, I have done what I should do for you. I can't marry you a wife and also help you make love to her. Use what you have to get what you want. Those words burned like fresh pepper in Nnamdi's ears. Fine. If the future billionaire must build his empire, he would start with the oldest currency in Akoko, borrowing with his sweet tongue. He launched into the village like a traveling preacher of prosperity. At every door he knocked, his story grew fatter than a market day goat. Brother Chike, my visa is already approved, he declared, tears shimmering like fresh dew. Oba has shown me the way. In 2 years, I will pay you double. Only a small soft loan. It's just like sowing a seed. With the women who sold peppers, he added extra spice. Mama Ngozi, remember when I helped you chase that stray goat? You see, it's not like I'm lazy. It's just that I have an internal sickness, and the sickness is serious. That's why I cannot farm like others. But look, God has opened a mighty door. Don't close it on your own blessing. When emotion was needed, he produced tears so real that they deserved an award. The elders shook their heads in pity. The youth clapped at his big dream. By the end of the week, even the village cats expected a refund. Don't even ask me how, but Nnamdi managed to borrow money from the villagers. His father, weary and bewitched, sold a slice of his fertile land, muttering, maybe this boy's chi truly wants him to succeed in the city. And just like that, Nnamdi, the city billionaire in the making, had raised a small fortune large enough to drown in palm wine. When he finally reached Lagos, the long-distance bus screeched into the smoky motor park, and Nnamdi stepped out like a prince returning from exile. His shirt was loud enough to wake the dead, his fake British accent even louder. "Pardon me, driver," he announced to nobody in particular. "Kindly remove my luggage with care. It is fragile, you know." His luggage was just a single tired box that looked as if it had survived a lion attack. After a brief tour of the city, mostly getting lost, he secured his dream apartment, a face me I face you room in a crumbling compound ruled by Madame Bissy, a landlady with hips like double doorposts and a laugh that could chase mosquitoes. The walls of his room were cracked like old kola nuts. The paint, a memory of a once cheerful blue. The ceiling fan groaned like an old man climbing a hill. But Nnamdi spread his arms and grinned. "My new Lekki apartment," he declared in his full borrowed accent. Fake life activated. He paused in a doorway, imagining a fleet of exotic cars parked outside instead of Madame Bissy's clocking chickens. In his mind, the cracked floor was marble, the dripping tap, a designer fountain. The billionaire dream had officially moved from Akoko to Lagos, one hilarious illusion at a time. 3 nights after settling into his Lekki mansion, with the cracked walls, Nnamdi finally swung into action. He hadn't been sleeping like a lazy goat, oh no. He had been on reconnaissance. Lagos, he discovered, was a jungle where only the cunning found the ripest fruit. He prowled the streets for happening spots, collecting gossip like a seasoned spy. At last, he sniffed out a real jackpot. The Royal Palm Gardens, a wedding venue so grand that even Moon peeked in for a better look. That night, after slipping a few crumpled notes to a stubborn security guard, soft bribe as he called it, our billionaire in training waltzed inside. The place was dazzling. Chandeliers glittered like captured stars, and cherry blossoms drooped from the ceilings as if they too were trying to attend. Expensive perfume mingled with the mouth-watering aroma of jollof rice. High heels clicked across the marble floor like impatient castanets. Nnamdi adjusted the empty laptop bag slung over his shoulder. A perfect business tycoon prop. "Board meeting postponed," he muttered, in an accent that sounded like British vowels wrestling with Igbo village. His eyes scanned the hall for prey. Lagos high society women with pockets deeper than the Atlantic. Then she walked in, Chiamaka. She floated into the room wrapped in a gold gown so fitted that it could even have been poured on. Cameras flashed. Men's necks snapped around like broken broomsticks. She was pure royal packaging. Until one heel betrayed her with a crack that echoed like a hunter's gun. The crowd gasped. Chiamaka wobbled, grabbing a waiter for balance, and giggled as though turbulence was part of her grand entrance. "Oh, turbulence," she said, like someone just stepping off a private jet. Nnamdi's heart cartwheeled. Jackpot. He strutted over, chest wide enough to block the chandelier lights. "Good evening, ma'am," he intoned, deep voice polished like palm wine. "I am Investor Andy. Just flew in from London." His accent wobbled like Ogi on a windy day. Chiamaka flicked her borrowed wig, her eyes glittering. "Wow, that must be such a long distance and big sacrifice," she replied smoothly. "I am Chi. I just moved into Lagos from Abuja. My pilot was late. I was even afraid I wouldn't make it after the whole unpacking saga. But my father, Senator Odili, insisted. He asked me to represent him. Inside, Nnamdi whistled like a man who just saw free gold. A senator's daughter. The gods were clearly madly in love with him. Across the glittering hall, Chiamaka had her own silent fireworks. Investor from London. First catch of the night, and he was handsome too. Each of them smiled politely, while their brains screamed the same thing. This one is rich. But dear listener, let us peep behind Chiamaka's glossy mask. Back in her village called Eziama, she had ruled like a peacock among hens, tall, slender, and breathtakingly beautiful. She was the moon every maiden envied. Proposals rained like mangoes in Harmattan, but she waved them off with a laugh bright enough to light a dark hut. Marriage, she would scoff, tilting her chin. My husband is not among these peasant yam farmers. My husband drives a jeep and lives in a mansion in the city. Her days were spent polishing nails and practicing city slangs borrowed from Nollywood films. She tied her mother's best wrappers and borrowed her cousin's handbags for big girl. Walked around the square, and when asked how she would find this mysterious prince, she whispered, "Connections, my dear. My uncle in Abuja would soon send for me." Reality check. The uncle in Abuja sold spare parts in Onitsha and barely remembered she existed. Yet, Chiamaka clung to her gospel of packaging. If you looked rich long enough, riches would eventually mistake you for family. Somehow, through a cocktail of luck and lies, she drifted to Lagos and now squatted with her friend Dimma in a noisy face-me-I-face-you compound. From there, she launched her big girl lifestyle like a Nollywood sequel. And so, the stage was set. Two world-class pretenders meeting under a ceiling of fake cherry blossoms, each convinced they had discovered a golden ticket, neither realizing they were staring at a perfect mirror of their own deception. Yeah, they both thought they had hooked a millionaire, while both are glorified tenants in cracked walled rooms somewhere in Lagos slums. When the band slid into a soft love song, Nnamdi sprang up like a man whose destiny had just been announced on the radio. He offered his arm with a flourish. "Shall we?" Chiamaka rose, her wounded heel wobbling like a guilty witness. Still, she glided to the dance floor as though she carried a crown no one else could see. Every twirl set Nnamdi's old shoes squeaking tiny protests like angry rats. He widened his smile with each squeak as if the sound were a secret London beat only classy investors could hear. "You dance like a man who owns ships," Chiamaka teased, her eyes glittering. "Two cargo vessels," he lied without blinking. "Currently docked in Singapore." "Impressive," she breathed. "I run an event company in Lekki. My senator father invested millions in it." "Sounds huge," Nnamdi replied, bowing slightly. "It is," she said, smoothing her borrowed wig. They smiled at each other, two professionals congratulating themselves on the perfect performance. After the dance, they approached the buffet with the elegance of swans and the hunger of wolves. Chiamaka, who had survived on garri and groundnuts for 2 days, eyed the food like a long-lost inheritance. Nnamdi, who hadn't eaten since morning, piled fried rice into a mountain that could block the view of the next table. "I must not overeat," he whispered, patting his stomach. "Javier is waiting for me at home." Chiamaka calmly added 3 massive turkey wings. Yes, I only nibble. My chef is preparing lobster dinner." She flashed a smile bright enough to power a small village. When the bride tossed her bouquet, Chiamaka leaped like a goalkeeper. Crack went the rebellious heel. She tumbled forward, recovered with Nollywood fineness, and held the flowers high. Private jet turbulence again, she declared to the cheering crowd. Nnamdi bowed deeply. Madam Abuja, allow me to escort you to your convoy. My driver just stepped out, she said smoothly. He's polishing the G-Wagon. Ah, coincidence, Nnamdi replied, adjusting his empty laptop bag. My chauffeur is refueling the Range Rover. They strolled outside, each praying the other wouldn't notice the distinct lack of any vehicle. The night air was thick with mosquito buzz and the smell of roasted corn. Two world-class liars stood at the Royal Palm Gardens gate, smiling like VIPs while secretly counting the seconds. My driver must be circling the block. Maybe, Lagos traffic, Nnamdi said, phone pressed to a dead battery. Chiamaka nodded regally, balancing on one heroic shoe. A G-Wagon driver too, he likes to stretch the engine before pickup. A keke slowed. Oga, auntie, enter. Both waved it off in perfect unison. No, we are waiting for official transport. The driver muttered, official, cop, official in knee, and rattled away. I don't know why poor people think everyone is poor like them, Chiamaka murmured. Exactly. Don't mind them, Nnamdi agreed. Chest out. 10 long minutes later, reality tapped Nnamdi's shoulder. Your landlady locks the gate at 10. He faked the call. Hello? You mean the Range Rover? Ah, excellent. You're nearby. 5 more minutes. Perfect. To Chiamaka, they say 5 minutes. Shall we stroll? Of course, she said, toes screaming for mercy. Fresh air is good for the champagne. They wandered down the dusty road, moonlight glinting off puddles of old rain. At the corner, a battered yellow downfall screeched to a halt. Surulere! Surulere straight! The conductor barked. Nnamdi's heart leaped. Surulere was exactly where his Lekki mansion spotted. He spun to Chiamaka. Would you object if we experienced the people's transport? For research, I could tell my driver to meet me later. Chiamaka's stomach rumbled like a talking drum. Experience is important, she said with forced dignity. Lead the way. Inside, Nnamdi sat like a foreign investor, knees together, eyes half closed. A child poked his sunglasses and shouted, Mommy, this uncle is wearing night goggles. Chiamaka balanced her broken shoe on her lap. Her wig, tired of the act, slid sideways. A groundnut seller offered her a packet. Fine, auntie, only 50 naira. I don't take groundnuts at night, she said loftily. Then whispered to Nnamdi, do you have a small change? My chef forgot my purse. The downfall jerked to a stop. Abeg o, fare don finish, the conductor barked. Groans erupted as passengers spilled onto the roadside, including the self-proclaimed Range Rover owner and Madame G-Wagon. Well, this has been unexpectedly adventurous, Nnamdi said, sweat betraying him. Indeed, Lagos is full of surprises, Chiamaka replied, clutching her rebellious wig. They exchanged a glance, half suspicion, half admiration. But pride is a strong glue. I'll call my driver, Nnamdi said grandly, tapping nonsense on his dead phone. Yes, I will have my PA help me find out where my driver is now, Chiamaka added, pretending to text. From the distance, a shout pierced the night. Mama Bisi they find you. Nepa bill. Nnamdi froze, praying the shadows would hide him. Thank goodness, Chiamaka was absorbed in her fake texting. My driver is here, he said briskly. I just need to walk down a bit to meet him. Have you reached your personal chauffeur? Oh yes, 2 minutes, Chiamaka lied, relief washing over her. He should be here any moment. They exchanged phone numbers with royal smiles and promised to text when they get home, each secretly grateful for the escape. As soon as Chiamaka watched him disappear into the dark, she exhaled hard, made the sign of the cross and grinned. Jackpot, she thought. Investor ND is mine. After their unforgettable official transport adventure, Nnamdi and Chiamaka became late-night comedians on the phone. Every evening, they talked for hours, laughing like old lovers and firing lies back and forth like seasoned politicians. Chiamaka, my day was so busy. I just returned from Maldives. Had a business dinner with Dad's partner since he couldn't be there. Wow, I can imagine, Nnamdi would add. Lagos has been so stressful, signing multi-million-dollar deals every day. Well, I just thank God it's more money. Yeah, Chiamaka would squeak excitedly. More money. They built castles in the air, adding extra rooms each night. Meanwhile, across the room, while Nnamdi dreamed of caviar, another drama brewed in the cramped Face Me I Face You apartments. Chiamaka perched on a wobbly plastic stool, yanking a borrowed wig with the fury of a warrior polishing a battle shield. Stray strands flew like rebellious soldiers. Chiamaka, her friend, demurred, tying her wrapper tighter. You promised to return that wig yesterday. Kelechi is coming to collect it in the morning. She was here today. I know, my darling, Chiamaka sang, her voice dripping honey. But you must cover for me. I am standing on the edge of my breakthrough now, and I need this wig. See, this latest investor catch is stinking rich, and I must keep the standard. I told him my father is a senator. This hair is my destiny. The man's eyebrow shot up so high that it nearly touched the ceiling fan. Investor catch? Senator's daughter? Chiamaka, why are you doing this to yourself? Chiamaka waved a manicured finger. Please, please, it's late. Don't start. Girl, this is Lagos. Rich men marry their kind. And it's not as if you ask me for money. Just watch. My first mission is to request a small urgent 5 millionaire. We'll pack out of this slum and more will follow. Just calm down. Dimma warned, folding her arms. This doesn't sit well with me. Come on, you're beautiful, Chiamaka. Why all these lies? Why not find something meaningful to do with your life? Chiamaka hissed playfully. Jealousy is a disease, my dear. Pray for healing. She lifted Bisi's borrowed iPhone, angled her face towards the weak moonlight seeping through the threadbare curtain, and snapped a selfie. Hashtag private jet vibes, she whispered, uploading it to Instagram with a triumphant smile. Good night, my friend, she added, blowing a kiss at her own reflection. Finally, the grand evening arrived. After 3 weeks of chatting and texting on phone, they had finally fixed a dinner date. Nnamdi's plan glittered brighter than his borrowed wristwatch. Okoro's car, bless its stubborn soul, was a miracle of illusion. At midnight, it looked almost dignified, shadows hiding the peeling paint and the side mirror that had long resigned. By daylight, however, it resembled a goat shed on wheels. Nnamdi didn't care. It was all he could hire, and even that came on credit. Guy, not only today, he pleaded, twirling the keys like a British duke, awarding himself a knighthood. This babe is pure gold. Her father is a senator, Senator Odili. Once I seal this deal, dollars go rain for both of us. Okoro handed the keys to the driver and sighed like a tired prophet. Remember, the fuel gauge is a liar like you. When it says half, it means prayer points. Nnamdi saluted. Range Rover experience, check. International perfume, check. Pounds sterling confidence, double check. Across town, Chiamaka stepped out of Dima's tiny room wrapped in a borrowed red dress, so tight that it looked as if it had been negotiated by a lawyer and signed by a tailor under duress. Her borrowed wig gleamed like freshly cracked coconuts. He checked herself in a tinted window and whispered, "Tonight, Madam Abuja will collect her destiny." With a final glance at her reflection, she hurried to a nearby estate where her investor would pick her up. The car arrived, coughed twice like an asthmatic goat, and whisked to a stop. Nnamdi leaped out, flinging his arms wide to distract her from the vehicle's dying breath. My limited edition self-packing model sometimes updates itself, he explained smoothly, patting the bonnet with royal affection. Very high-tech. Chiamaka's eyes widened. Technology must have advanced. You look extremely good, Nnamdi said, his eyes traveling from borrowed wig to lawyer-tight dress. Thank you, Chiamaka replied, smiling like a cat with fresh milk. You don't look bad either. They slid into the seats, Nnamdi silently commanding the engine to behave. By some divine prank, it obeyed. They glided into Ocean's Pier, the kind of restaurant where the menu wears a suit and the bill wears fangs. Crystal chandeliers dripped light like liquid wealth. A hostess with a voice like cold champagne led them to a candle-lit corner. Order anything, Nnamdi declared, waving a hand like a king distributing farmlands. Chiamaka needed no second invitation. Starter, lobster bisque, main course, grilled sea bass with saffron rice, dessert, chocolates, souffle, and sparkling water. Imported. Nnamdi swallowed hard. Yes, Excellence, I will have same, double. They dined like royalty. Chiamaka chewed with delicate grace, already composing Instagram captions, soft life, #private jet dinner. Nnamdi devoured his sea bass while mentally calculating how many months of unpaid rent each bite represented. Just a little longer, he thought. One more performance and I will be a billionaire. At last, the waiter approached, smiling like a man carrying thunder. Your bill, sirs and madam. Total, 385,500. Silence fell like a fallen palm tree. Nnamdi declared the truth. Excellence. I will just call my accountant for confirmation of exchange rates. He pulled out his lifeless phone and pressed it to his ear with an Oscar-worthy confidence. Yes. Okay, good. Transfer the funds immediately. Yes, convert to Naira. Good chap. He gave Chiamaka a reassuring nod. Excuse me a moment, dear. My international card requires a special code. I'll be right back. With the elegance of melted butter, he rose and glided towards the exit. The door shut behind him, and Nnamdi exploded into a sprint worthy of Olympic legend. Outside, he dove into Okoro's coffin car. Inside, he patted the dashboard like a co-conspirator. My guy, one last miracle, he begged the driver. The engine roared like a wounded lion, and the goat-shed Range Rover shot into the Lagos lights. Inside the glittering Ocean's Pier, Chiamaka sipped the last drop of her sparkling water, and kept her smile pinned like a stubborn brooch. 5 minutes, she told herself. 10, 20. The chair across from her stayed empty and a politician's promise. The waiter reappeared, polite but pointed. Madam, is your guest returning with a special code? Of course, she said crisply, adjusting her wig. His driver is polishing the Bentley. The waiter's smile thinned into a single straight line. He turned and murmured, Security. 2 muscular guards glided forward like silent thunderstorms. Madam, your payment. Chiamaka laughed, the sound dry as Gary without sugar. Oh, you people joke too much. My fiancé will be back any minute. They folded their arms. Minutes passed. Her borrowed wig began to itch like divine punishment. The restaurant's manager appeared, stern as a headmaster, catching students behind the school kitchen. Madam, what is happening here? What is delaying the payments? Chiamaka fumbled for dignity. Let me call him. She dialed with trembling fingers. Beep, beep. Then that cruel voice. The number you're trying to call is switched off. Beads of sweat dotted her forehead like betrayed pearls. His line is switched off, she stammered, eyes wide. The proud queen, now a rat caught in icy water. Okay, then you have to pay, the manager thundered. Pay? I don't have that kind of money. Then we will do it our way, he declared. No payments, no freedom. You will work here until the bill is cleared. Work? Me? Chiamaka gasped, clutching her handbag. Do you know who I am? My father is Madam. The manager cut in, shoving a mop into her manicured hands. For 1 month, you are going to be our cleaner. Your salary is 150,000 naira per month. You still owe us 200,000 after that. He eyed her handbag. Check if this is original Fendi and get it what, he ordered a guard. And the wig, bring it. No, please. None of them is mine, she pleaded, falling to her knees. I borrowed them, please. Can we walk around something? The diners erupted into laughter loud enough to rattle the chandelier. Lagos girls, someone shouted between cackles. Before midnight, Madame Abuja, queen of packaging, mistress of hashtags, was on her knees, scrubbing the marble floors while diners recorded every stroke on their phones. Her own phone buzzed with notifications, but not from Nnamdi. His number remained unreachable, gone like a thief in the night. Though, really, only the lies had been stolen. Chiamaka wrung the mop and muttered through clenched teeth. London boy, if I catch you, your Range Rover will turn to wheelbarrow. When Chiamaka finally staggered into the compound, she no longer looked like the shimmering Madame Abuja of Instagram. Her face was puffy with tears, her borrowed dress sagged like a deflated balloon, and every step made her wince. She pushed open the mat's door and collapsed against the frame. Oh my God, Dima gasped, leaping from her mat. What happened to you? Why did you look like this? Where's the wig, the bag, everything? Chiamaka's voice cracked like dry wool. You see that ND? God will punish him for me. She trembled, fist balled. You should never allow me catch him anywhere in this entire Lagos. He should just keep running, because if I find him, I will tear him apart. Her anger burst into sobs. You won't believe it. He stood me up at the restaurant. That useless boy stood me up after we accumulated a bill of 385,000 naira. He said he wanted to get a code and ran out. Switched off his phone. Imagine me hot chi. Dima's mouth fell open. Hey, what's waiting on her chop self? Have you forgotten girl's code. You don't eat what you can't pay for when you go out on a date. But you know I'm broke, she wailed, tears streaking her cheeks. Then you should have ordered bottled water, or better still, stayed at home. Chi, you're too messed up. Dimma shook her head, half pity, half exasperation. Please, Dimma, I don't need your lectures right now. Chiamaka sobbed harder. What do I do now? The wig is gone. Chioma's Fendi bag is gone. His number is switched off. Hey, I am finished. Dimma softened, moving close to wrap an arm around her friend. You need to find a real job, Chi. This is not life. I warned you earlier. I will beg Chioma and Kelechi to give you time to save up so you can pay them back. But Chiamaka only clenched her fists tighter, shaking with fury. I will kill him, she hissed through tears. I swear by the gods, I will kill him. She buried her face on Dimma's shoulder, sobbing until the cracked walls seemed to weep along with her. 14 days crawled past like wounded snails. Every dawn found Chiamaka in the restaurant's stiff uniform. A mop has kept her of suffering. Customers hauled insult hotter than pepper soup. Managers backed orders like drill sergeants. Her back ached. Her palms blistered, and each night she returned to Dimma's room looking like a rumpled rag, muttering curses so sharp that they could slice her. London boy. Hey! If fire don't under you under your Range Rover, she would hiss into her pillow. Investor my foot. Investor Andy. May your fake accent shock you in your dreams. One grey morning, while she struggled into the faded cleaner's apron, her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and froze. Investor Andy. For a heartbeat, she considered throwing the phone against the wall. Then the fury she had been nursing like a newborn goat roared awake. She stabbed the answer button. You are evil, Andy, or whatever you call your stupid self, she spat. So you even have the mind to call me after what you did to me? There was a pause. Then his voice, calm, velvet smooth, the kind that could melt iced water in a second. I'm sorry, babe. The quiet in his tone wrapped around her like a soft net. Her words clung in her throat. I was kidnapped, Andy continued, voice trembling, just enough to sound heroic. It happened so fast. I just went to the car to get the code. Before I knew it, they grabbed me, took my phone, demanded 100 million naira ransom. They pressed a gun to my head, babe. I thought I would die. They held me for 7 days. The moment they released me, I fled to the United States. I'm so shaken, so traumatized. I'm so sorry, babe. Chiamaka's knees went weak. Tears blurred her vision. I'm sorry, she whispered. I was so stupid. I thought you played me when you were in danger all this time. Are you okay? I'm trying, he said, the words heavy with practice sorrow. Really trying. About the other day at the restaurant, how were you able to settle the bills, and can you send me your account so that I can transfer the money to you? Oh, no. You don't have to worry about that. It's just chicken change and I settled it. Really? Thank you. You see, I will make it up to you when I fly back into the country. His voice lingered in her ear like a slow, dangerous lullaby. And just like that, the mop slipped from Chiamaka's hand, clattering to the floor, while the city outside kept buzzing, unaware that the game of lies had only begun. Hey besties, we've come to the end of the part 1 of this story, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. I would love you to share your thoughts so far in the comment section. And if you're yet to subscribe to our channel and you enjoy our stories, please do not skip this video without hitting on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever we post new stories. Thank you besties for all your wonderful support, your beautiful comments. They mean so much to me and they just keep pushing me to go. Please, the part 2 of this story will drop soon as I still have exams to prepare for. But I hope you stay tuned so that when it drops, you'll be the first to watch this dramatic story. Right now, I have to go and see you in our next story, or rather see you in the part 2.